So in this tutorial, let's go ahead and actually give our game a beginning, a middle, and an end. So when the game starts, I'd like to see some kind of a nice title screen, and then we'll go ahead and play like it normally does. And finally, when our ship dies, let's go ahead and make it so we get to a game over screen. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with just a little bit of setup stuff. I'm going to make 3 game stages. And I'm going to do this right below my window settings. And these are just going to be constants that I refer to throughout the game. So I'm going to make one called start, and I'll set it equal to 0. Playing is equal to 1. 0. Playing is 1. And end is equal to 2. And the actual numbers I picked here really don't matter. I just needed to create 3 variables that have different numeric values. And you'll see later on why this is going to make our code more readable. All right. I also want to load up a font for my title text. So I'm just going to copy that, and we're going to do a title font. And I'm going to my assets folder, right? So in my assets, I have fonts, and I have recharge BD. So what I'm going to do is, instead of putting none and letting Pygame just pick something off my computer, I'm going to say assets /fonts and .ttf, rechargebd.ttf. And let's make it bigger. I'm going to take a guess that maybe 80 pixels high is going to be big for the right size for my title font. This really depends, if you have a really long game title, you need a smaller font, or if it really just depends on the font you pick as well. So what looks appropriate. So play with that number. All right, so now let's go down and create functions to do our title screen, a function to do our title screen. So our title screen is really going to be just a lot like the display stats function. We just want to get some text on the screen. So I am going to go def start screen. And I'm just going to copy one of these chunks from here that draws some text and positions it. Only I'm going to call this title text, and I'm going to render it using the title font. And instead here, right, the text we're going to render, well, I already have this variable called title, which has the name of my game in it. You can see I haven't even thought of a name of my game yet, but we'll go down here and I'm going to render that. And so let's make sure we're consistent throughout. Let's see, we're going to get the rect of the title text. We're going to split the title text, and then the positioning, I'm not going to do it by the bottom and left this time. I want to center up my text. So I'm going to say the rect center X, and I'm going to say here width divided by 2, and the center Y is going to be the height divided by 2. One thing you'll see here is that I'm using the double division, and the double division symbol or operator will always truncate the decimal. And this is important because there's no such thing as a decimal pixel. So I want to make sure that this comes out to a whole number, no matter what the width and height of our screen are. All right. So right now, nothing is going to show up on the screen, but let's go ahead and see if we can get this start text, the start screen, to show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the stage of my game, and I'm going to set it equal to start. And we'll go down here to the drawing code, and I'm just going to say if stage equals start, we'll show the start screen. And since the stage is start, well, then let's make sure this works. So here we are, and there we go. Now I can play right now. That's not really good. So what I need to do is make it so none of the other stuff works when I'm in the start screen. Um, so one thing I can do is go into here, into the logic, and I'm going to say if stage equals playing, and we're not going to do any of this unless we're in the playing stage. But let's see if everything is stopped now. Okay, so all right, so now nothing is updated. It's still allowing me to shoot, but we'll fix that. But at least everything's still okay. And then we can go into our event handling, and let's look at the stage before we decide what to do on key presses. So I'm going to add a section that says if stage equals start. Okay, so if there's a key down, and then in this case, I'm going to say, you know what, we'll just let them press any key to start. So if the stage is equal to start and they press a key, we'll just change the stage to playing. Notice how, be careful, right? You're comparing with two equal signs, you're assigning with one. And when you see similar lines all over the place, it's easy to copy and paste and make that mistake. And then I'm going to say elif stage is equal to playing. And if we're in the playing stage, then I care about the space bar for shooting. I also really shouldn't allow the ship to move unless I'm in the playing stage. So I'm also going to take this block of code here, if stage is equal to playing, and tab that over. And so now, okay. And now nothing happens until I start the game. So that's good. Let's go ahead and look at adding an end scene to our game. So this is going to be a logic problem, right? We've already checked to see if the length of the enemies is 0, then we advance levels. Well, the player, check the elif len of player is equal to 0. So this is going to tell us that the enemy ship got killed because the ship is in the player sprite group, right? So because when we created the ship at the beginning, right, we put it in the player sprite group. So what we can do here is we can set the stage end. And let's go ahead and make an end screen. So I will copy this end screen, and I'll just go back to the default font. My end this is my end text or my game over text, and I'm just going to print, let's see, game over. We'll center it up just like before, and make sure the variable names discuss what they're representing. And now I'm going to go down here to this, and I'll say elif stage equals end, and we'll do our end screen. And so now at this point, I should get, right, so we'll, clearing levels works, and let me get hit, and game over, and everything stopped. Okay, so now I want to do a couple of little finishing touches, maybe to, to clear everything up here. One is, this is kind of weird how everything just like totally stopped. So I am going to change, what I think I want to happen is when the game ends, is I want all of the updating to finish. and I want all the bullets to continue falling, and I want the enemy ships to keep moving back and forth. Um, so I am going to, instead of calling this stage is equal to playing, I'll just say stage is not equal to start. And then, the exclamation is equals, that's your not equal to operator. And so let's check that out. Die real quick and make sure it works. Okay, it's a little better. Let's see, let's fix this, right? It's kind of weird that they're still shooting. All right, they shouldn't continue shooting after the if the ship is not there. So I am just going to go up to my let's see, where is it? It's my fleet that deals with the shooting. Missed it. And here's the fleet, and in the update function, I'll just check, and I'll just say if, and we'll just say when player is greater than 0, we'll select a bomber. So they'll look in so the fleet can look in the player sprite group, and it should stop shooting if there's nobody there. So let's see if this works. Actually, I'm supposed to die. There we go. And it looks like all of the shooting has stopped. Okay. And so it looks good. Okay. And so, all right, one more thing to do now is I got to that screen and I'd like to be able to restart the game. So let's go into the event handling. And I'm just going to add another section that says elif stage is equal to end. And let's think about what keys we want. So I'm just going to say here, if event.key is equal to pygame. And I don't want it to be any key this time to restart, and I don't want it to be the space bar because chances are when the game ends, you're actively shooting, and and if we just started the game over again, you wouldn't even see the end result. You would end up just like starting the game. You would end up accidentally restarting before you got to see your score and all that. So I'm going to use the R key, and if you're using letter keys, then it's lowercase. Okay, it's not capitalized like here, which are the name keys. And let's just think of the things we have to do to start the game over again, and it's going to be this. So I am going to paste that, and we're going to start a new game. We're going to start a level, and we're going to set the stage to start, and hopefully now our game starts over. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. And we've got a game over screen, and everything's moving around. They're not shooting. Looks like it's working. Press R, and we're right back at the beginning. Okay. Now I'm going to do a couple just optional things, okay? Maybe give you some ideas. So, like, here I am on my start screen, and I got all the drawing on the screen. Well, maybe you don't want to have all the enemies and everything yet. And also, I don't know, this game type, I'd like to have something on the screen that says press any key to start. So I'm going to do a couple things here. One is I am going to add a line here that's screen.fill black. And then I'm going to add some subtext. And I'll just say in here, press any key to start. And we're going to do this in the default font. And then when we position this stuff, what I want to do is, right now these things are both centered exactly on the screen. And I'm going to change the rect bottom to the height divided by 2 of the title text, and I'm going to change the rect top to the height divided by 2. So now we got them we've got them stacked here. If you have letters with descenders like Y's or something in your title, you might find that these things overlap a little bit or they're too close. And so if we wanted to, we can actually, like, I'm just going to put a minus 15 here and a plus 15 here. And, you can play with these numbers to just maybe, subtract a little to nudge the title text up and then add a little to nudge the little subtext down. And, so maybe that looks a little bit better. All right. Let's see. And I think, let me look through my notes here and see if there's anything else I want to add. And nope, I think I'm in good shape. I like the title screen. If you wanted to add extra artwork here, maybe draw the ship on the screen, you certainly could. If you wanted to use a background image, this would be a great place for that. Or if you actually just like the game title to overlay the the formation when the game starts, that works as well. And so let me test it out and make sure everything works. So we'll go through and clear a level, and we're going to die, and we're at a game over stage. Go to restart. And one thing I want to check too, like guess the scores, the shield and the level, everything resets. So looks like everything is good, and I hope you have fun playing your game.